How far is too far? Surely you've thought about this question if you've been on a date, have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or even thought about being on a date. How should we make sense of this? Well, the first thing you realize is the Bible doesn't tell us exactly how far is too far. I can't tell you to turn to Nehemiah chapter 3, Joshua chapter 4, or the Gospel of John chapter 6. And the reason is because dating is a modern invention. They didn't have dating in the Old Testament or the New Testament. So we're not going to find an exact verse that tells us how far is too far. But I think biblically, we have something better. God gives us principles that we can apply to dating, to questions of how far is too far, and even other moral questions. Now, the first large principle is this to keep in mind, is that I'm not sure exactly how far is too far is necessarily the same for everybody. So think about it. There could be a lot of differences. Number one is a 13-year-old young man or young woman who's just coming into their faith as mature and have the same level of how far they may go as somebody who's 25 or 35 who's more mature and older in their faith. I think that's a fair difference. Also keep in mind differences that people have in their past. Some people bring certain hurt and experiences to a relationship, so we have to keep in mind how physical touch can affect people. Now, how far is too far? What exactly does the Bible say? Well, I think a verse that's going to help us out is in the book of Philippians, written by Paul from prison, Philippians 4:8. Let's read this passage. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's any excellence, if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What Paul is saying is that no matter our circumstances, because he wrote this from prison, by the way, we're to put ourselves in situations to think about things that are lovely, think about things that are pure, think about things that are good. So let me ask you a question applying this principle to how far is too far. Can you hold somebody's hand and be thinking about things that are pure? Sure. Can you give someone a kiss on the cheek and be thinking about things that are pure? Sure. Can you make out with somebody? Well, that's a little bit of a tougher question, isn't it? What about having oral sex with somebody? That's clearly out of bounds. There's no way somebody can be doing that in a dating relationship and be thinking about things that are pure. My encouragement to you is not to ask the question, how far is too far? But to ask a different question. How can I be loving and honorable towards somebody, to encourage them to think about things that are lovely, things that are pure, things that are worthy of praise on a date? I think if we approach a dating relationship in that kind of with that mindset, we're gonna see things very differently. And we're gonna naturally understand how far is too far. Here's a little practical way my dad said to me. He goes, son, when you're on a date with somebody, obviously this is before I was married, he said, think of that person as somebody's future spouse. How would you like somebody to treat your future spouse? Of course, at that time, when I was growing up, the idea was you'd leave high school and never hear from that person again. But now with Facebook, with Twitter, with all sorts of social media, former people you dated can come back into your life years later. So that's a piece worth thinking about when you ask how far is too far. Am I treating this person honorably? Am I treating this person lovingly? And for the rest of my life, can I live just with a clear conscience before the Lord that I treated this person the way I would want somebody to treat my spouse? That's how Scripture helps us make sense of this important question.